You ever log into a game, do your daily quests, and then log out feeling, well, nothing? Not excitement, not even fun. Just obligation? Yeah, it's a feeling that has become way too common. So let's talk about how we got here and, more importantly, how we can find our way back to games that are genuinely fun.
Right? It's the big question so many of us are asking. That game you used to absolutely love now feels more like a second job. You're logging in out of habit, or worse, because of a nagging fear of missing out on something. You are definitely not alone in feeling this way. And here's the thing, it's not happening by accident. It's happening by design.
There's actually a name for this feeling. Industry insiders are calling it the Great Gaming Exhaustion. It's basically the result of this decade-long obsession with one single metric: daily active users. See, the goal wasn't really to make games more enjoyable, it was to make them more habit-forming. And that, as you can imagine, has led to some massive player burnout.
All right, so this feeling of exhaustion, it's not an accident. It's the very intended outcome of a really specific design philosophy. So let's pull back the curtain for a minute and take a look at the psychological engine that's driving so many of these games. This is it. It's called the hook model. Its entire purpose, its reason for being, is to form habits and keep you coming back, day after day after day. And look, it's incredibly effective at keeping you around in the short term. But as we're about to see, that often comes at the huge cost of long-term enjoyment. So how does it work? It's actually a pretty simple 4-step loop. It all starts with a trigger, that little push notification on your phone. That leads you to take a simple action, like just opening the app. Then comes the secret sauce, a variable reward. It's completely unpredictable, which works just like a slot machine, and it basically hijacks your brain's reward system. And finally, you make an investment of your time or your money, which makes you more committed and primes you for the next trigger. And so the cycle repeats over and over again. And if you take that hook model to its absolute logical extreme, this is what you get. People have started calling it game slop. These are just low-effort, cookie-cutter clones designed not to actually entertain a human being, but to satisfy the algorithms that promote them. They are literally the empty calories of the gaming world. But here's the good news. The pendulum is finally starting to swing back. There's a new philosophy emerging, one that isn't about tricking players into sticking around, but about actually earning their time and their attention. It's a big move from a predatory hook to a much more sustainable hold. And this slide really nails the core difference, right? On the left, the hook manipulates you into playing. It uses psychology against you. But on the right, the hold earns your desire to play. It's the huge difference between feeling compelled to do something and feeling genuinely drawn to it. So how does it actually work? Well, the hold philosophy is really built on 3 main pillars. First, intrinsic motivation, meaning the game is just fun on its own. It doesn't need to constantly dangle rewards in front of you to string you along. Second, you have player agency. Your choices actually matter. They shape your experience and create a story that feels like it's yours. And third, competence and mastery. The game feels rewarding because you're developing real skills, not just because you're logging in to collect a daily prize. And when you build on those pillars, you naturally end up with a design that respects you as a player. And, maybe more importantly, respects your time. This is really where ethics stops being some abstract idea and starts becoming a tangible design practice. A key idea here is the cognitive budget. Just think of your attention and your mental energy like money in a bank account. Every task, every notification, every decision, it's a withdrawal. Bad games, well, they just drain that account and leave you feeling exhausted. But great games, they give you a return on attention. They make you feel like your investment of mental energy was absolutely worth it. And this is where you see a huge difference in approach. On the left, you've got designs that prey on your fear of missing out, FOMO. Daily login streaks, limited time events, they make you feel chained to the game. But the ethical alternative is something called burst play. It's a design that lets you play intensely when you have the time, put the game down for a whole week, and then come back without feeling like you've been punished for having a life. Okay, let's talk about money. Monetization itself isn't the enemy. It's all about how it's done. Unethical tactics, like confusing you with 5 different kinds of currency or creating these artificial frustration spikes to get you to spend, that's what feels bad. The ethical methods are transparent. Instead of pay-to-win mechanics, you get awesome cosmetics. Instead of being sold a solution to a frustration the game created, you get offered value-based purchases, like a full expansion. You always know exactly what you're buying and why.
So where is all this heading?
Well, as more and more players get tired of the old tricks, the future of gaming is actually starting to look a lot like its past. We're seeing a return to quality, to care, and to genuine craftsmanship. And what's kind of ironic is that the flood of all this low-effort game slop is actually creating its own cure. Players are getting way smarter about spotting manipulative design. They are actively seeking out games made by developers who act more like curators. Developers who truly respect that a player's time is their single most valuable resource. It really all comes down to this one powerful question, a question that every ethical game designer should be asking themselves. It's not, will the player come back tomorrow? It's, if they decided to uninstall the game right now, would they walk away feeling like their time was well spent? Because at the end of the day, a sustainable, healthy future for games isn't about finding the next psychological trick. It's about getting back to what made games so great in the first place. Deep, meaningful mechanics that give you real substance, not just a shallow sugar rush. And that really brings the whole question back around to you. In a world that is constantly fighting for every single second of your attention, your choice of where to spend it really matters. By supporting games that respect your cognitive budget, you're not just buying a better experience for yourself, you are literally voting for the kind of future for gaming you want to see. So let me ask you, what makes a game worth your time?